Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today I'm going to be talking you through my daughter's graduation dress that I made for her, as well as going through, this is made out of silk, so my top 5 tips for sewing with silk as well, because I know that can be an intimidating fiber to work with. So let's talk a little bit about the dress. Why is it not on a mannequin? It's not on a mannequin because I couldn't get it on a mannequin. And I'll explain why in just a second. This is the Gracie wrap dress from the Bold One patterns. It comes with, oh my gosh, multiple sleeves. It comes with like a few different tie options around the waist. It's not a true wrap. It just has these like wrap ties to do, makes it really cool on the waist. A few different skirt lengths that it comes with, I think 3, maybe 4. It comes with a whole bunch of different variations. And then there's like 3 or 4 different neckline options, both the front and the back you can choose from. It's really kind of a choose your own adventure pattern. And this is the first time I had used a pattern from this pattern company, and very, very impressed. Mostly impressed on how she did the projector file, because you could just, the way the layers work, a lot of times you're just picking sizes, which you could do. She also had different file sizes for how tall you are. So I was able to choose the shortest file, so for the shortest person file size, and I didn't have to do any alterations, and it had cup sizes. That was the other thing, cup sizes. So yeah, this was a really great pattern. I would absolutely make more of her patterns. She's fairly new, so she doesn't have a ton in her catalog. However, I would absolutely try more patterns from her in the future because I was very impressed with how everything went. So anyway, this, like I said, the Gracie wrap dress. Now, apparently it is tradition for girls to wear white dresses for actual graduation. So this is the dress that I made for my daughter to wear for actual graduation. All of her graduation pictures, like in her cap and gown. This is what she wore underneath her cap and gown, all of that kind of stuff. And the fabric, actually, honestly, this isn't the best color white for her. This is actually more my white. It's a much creamier white. However, one of my good friends who owned an alterations business closed her alterations business, and so she was getting rid of a whole bunch of fabric that she just had, and this was leftover fabric from her wedding dress, and she just like take the bolts. So it had some water staining on some of the yardage. It was pretty narrow, but I was like, okay, because it's silk dupioni, and I was like, it'd be perfect for Ava's graduation dress. So I grabbed it, and that's what we decided to use. And honestly, the body of this silk worked really, really well for this style of dress, because you wanted to hold its shape. You know, the puff of the sleeves and the crispness of the skirt. So that all worked really, really well. I made the standard wrap for the ties on this. I made 0 alterations. Like I said, I used the shortest file size that they had. We did the mini skirt, so the mid-thigh skirt on it. The short puff sleeves, I did the largest cup size in a size with a size 4. And I can't remember now what the full range of cup sizes. I feel like it was like maybe GH or EF, something like that. It was the biggest cup size for the size 4, and made 0 alterations. And I think it worked out really pretty perfectly. Now, if I were going back and making this for her again, and we may do that, I would add an inch to the bodice. My daughter, even though she's only 5'2", is very long in the torso. And I feel like this wrap, so she can usually do like a lot of wrap around her waist, but this comes up really close up under her chest. And I think if that waist were lowered where it was hitting her where it should, it would be perfect. So if we do this dress for her again, and we very well might, because it does fit her hourglass figure really well, and again, there's so many options, I would add to that bodice length for her. But other than that, and then obviously that would add just a little bit of length to the skirt. It's because it's a full skirt. She had to bend, you know, squat, not bend, which it was fine for the occasion. We did the V-neck in the front and the back, and there's a little tie piece that they have you put in the back just to keep everything right on the shoulders. And I think it all worked really, really well. This is actually surprisingly a pretty quick to go together dress, which worked well because I waited too long to make this and was really trying to hurry there at the end, but it all got done. It was fine. It also, I thought I had till the end of the month to make this closer to graduation, but then she and her friends wanted to do some graduation pictures, and so she needed it earlier, like at the beginning of the month. So anyway, it worked out fine. And I think the style is really adorable on her. And again, I think it would be even more flattering if we just added to the torso to where the ties were really going around her waist. There are no closures on this dress, which is why I could not get it onto my mannequin. It goes fine over her shoulders. She puts it on over her head, but her shoulders squish. The shoulders on my mannequin don't. So I just literally couldn't get it on over the hips of the going either way on the mannequin, which is why I'm holding it. But I think it works out really, really well. She does need help getting it tied, once she's in it, but no closures. It's a very easy dress to make, and there's pockets. So she had pockets in order to throw her phone in there during actual graduation, which I think worked really, really well as well. Now, the bodice is lined, and that's the other thing I loved about the, the projector file, is that it had two separate pieces all laid out. So you can either cut it out. There was like a, centerfold line that you could cut it on the fold. But you didn't have to, everything could lay out perfectly on the fabric without having to do a lot of shifting with the projector, which I thought was really nice. But the bodice of the pattern is meant to be lined, and it is, and I lined it with the same silk. However, once I had it all put together, I didn't have enough to cut the skirt out twice, but it did need, because the fabric needed a lining for the skirt. So I grabbed some white cotton lawn from my stash and just lined the skirt. And that worked out, I think, really, really well. So just kept things from being able to see, because it's a light colored silk, and also it was just when the sun hit it, I was afraid you were going to be able to see a little more than she wanted you to be able to see. Anyway, I think it worked out really, really well. So let's talk about sewing with silk and why it can be intimidating, and 5 tips that I've got for you. Number one, not all silks, silk is the fiber. There are many different weaves of silk. Some weaves of silk are much easier to handle than others, and I would suggest starting with a more bodied silk, meaning something that's not as slippery, something that has a little bit more structure, such as the silk dupioni that I chose here. So silk dupe raw silk, silk noil, silk dupioni, silk shantung are all good ones to start if you're just dipping your toe into sewing with silk. This is a silk dupioni. Your silk crepe de chine, your charmeuse, chiffon can be really shifty. Those all can be just a little bit more temperamental and need just a little bit more careful hand when working with. But if you want to start off with using silk, those more bodied ones are a great way to do that. On that note, though, I find silk to be much easier to handle than its polyester counterparts. So a silk chiffon, much easier to sew with than a poly chiffon, or a silk charmeuse versus a polyester charmeuse. So that being said, because it has more grip than the polyester counterparts. So just keep that in mind. All right, tip number one, pre-wash your silk. I know that people are going to be like, what? Washing silk? Guys, silk is a protein fiber. You should be treating it like you treat your hair, which is also a protein fiber. It honestly should never go to the dry cleaner. However, that being said, most of the silk that we buy, like when we buy a ready-made garment, silk is notorious for dye running. So if you haven't washed the yardage before making the garment, you could end up ruining a garment. So do follow your bought clothes recommendations on your tag. But when you are starting off with yardage and making your own things, I 100% wash my silk every single time. I like to use a nice delicate detergent such as soap. I use that for my hand knits. I use it for, like I said, my silks, anything that needs a little bit more delicate soap. Soap's my favorite. But you could also, there's a whole bunch, basically anything that you would use for blocking sweaters, for doing any of that works really well. So like Eucaline, is that what it's called? Eucaline, which is one. But again, soak is just my favorite. And it works really, really well. But I do it all in the washing machine. I wash it on delicate, with the delicate soap, the yardage, everything. And then I take that yardage and I put it in the dryer. And I dry it. Again, it's like hair. Now, I don't dry the finished garments once they are made into garments, but that first yardage, I do. It changes the hand of the silk just a little bit. And what do I mean by that? It'll make like a silk charmeuse that's really shiny on one side and a little bit more matte on the other side. It'll make the contrast not as big. You can still tell the shiny side versus flat side, but it makes it maybe not as obvious. It takes the differences down just a little bit. Dupioni, it doesn't really change at all. You may notice that it comes out just a little bit crisper than it did when it went in, but again, an iron, warm, just iron that yardage and it softens it right back up. So once the garment is made, I do a hand wash cycle, gentle soap again in the washing machine. Then I let it air dry. And then I just hit it with an iron and or steamer, and that is it. It's super easy to take care of silk. So don't get caught up on that one. Number 2, fresh blades or nice sharp scissors. I know that when you're cutting out your fabric, I know that we've been taught, don't ever use your fabric scissors on paper. It'll dull the blade. Nothing dulls the blade quicker than silk. Silk is an extremely strong fiber. In fact, layers of silk are what was used for the first bulletproof vests. So it is a very, very strong fiber, and it will dull your scissors. That being said, I will use a brand new blade to cut out my silk. Now I'll use that same blade to cut out other projects for a while. That seems like a waste of a blade just to cut out that one project with my rotary cutter. But just keep in mind that it will dull it, it will dull it very, very quickly. If you have a couple of silk projects cut out, maybe cut all those out together to get all of, then you can get rid of the blade or whatever. But using a nice sharp blade at the beginning really does make a difference. Now, if you're using scissors to cut out, you may just want to go have your scissors sharpened again after cutting out a few things. Quality scissors aren't going to need it as much as more economy scissors. So like my Kai blades, especially the serrated ones, work so well with silk because they grip. Those may not need it as much, but Kai, for instance, you can send them back off to be sharpened by Kai. So nice, good, fresh blade. It really makes a difference in making sure that nothing's getting pulled off grain and that everything cuts nice and crisply. Number 3 is if you are using a more bodied silk, like the Dupioni, the Shantung, the raw silk, the silk noil, those can all be cut double. Like you can cut on the fold, that kind of thing. They've got a little bit more grip. They don't shift. Absolutely fine to cut those like you would cut a cotton. However, if you are using a silk that is slipperier, like a crepe de chine, a charmeuse, chiffon, you absolutely want to cut those out single layer. Now, I know there's a lot of tips and tricks on laying out a piece of tissue paper, then putting the silk out, and then another piece of tissue paper, and then your pattern to keep everything from sliding all over the place. I don't go to that much trouble. I honestly just lay the fabric out. Now, if you are noticing that your fabric yardage is really, really slippery, use a spray starch. And honestly, soap actually the soap that I use has a spray starch that gets things all nice and crisp that then washes right out again. So if you've already washed the yardage, when you're ironing it to cut into it, spray with starch, it'll wash right out. And it keeps things a little bit more cotton-like, a little less slippery, while you're not only cutting it out, but working with it and sewing, and then it'll just wash right out once you wash the final garment. You'll just want to wash that final garment before you wear it the first time. So, good little tips with cutting out. Okay, number 3 is using you want to use a brand new needle, and absolutely you want to use a Microtex needle. Schmetz Microtex are my favorite. They're nice and sharp. For most silk, you're going to be using a size 10 or a size 12. I used a size 12 on this dress, but if I were using a silk charmeuse or a crepe de chine, I would go down to a 10. Maybe even further down for a chiffon. I don't use a lot of chiffon. Honestly, if I were sewing with a chiffon, I would even think about stabilizing the seams just as I'm sewing with like toilet paper. Have you heard of that trick? Where you sandwich toilet paper on either side of your seam to then sew and then it just tears away. Just to get a little bit more stability when it comes to using the chiffon. But anyway, with your crepe de chines, your charmeuses, those are fine. Just using a nice, sharp, brand new needle. And then finally, especially if you're using the more slippery weaves, a walking foot and or your machine may have a dual feed option on it. Mine does. If it doesn't, walking feet are readily available, generic ones for every single machine. You want one. That is one thing you definitely want in your sewing arsenal for more than just silk. But it's going to help feed the top layer of the seam and the bottom of the seam through evenly. So even if you're using your slipperier silks, it's going to keep things from shifting and keep your seams from creeping and all that kind of thing. And it makes life so much easier. So no matter what you're really working with, having a walking foot or that dual feet option is huge. You don't have to use it for all your sewing, but it really comes in handy for a lot of those trickier fabrics. All right, guys, that is my daughter's graduation dress, as well as 5 tips to help you if you are a little bit nervous about sewing the silk. I hope that these were helpful tips. I hope that this will encourage you to try some silk. It actually is a wonderful fiber. I love wearing it. I really do love working with it as well. I highly suggest that you step outside of your comfort zone and try sewing with some as well. You know, maybe a simpler pattern if you're really nervous about working with it. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Get some sewing in, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.